This very reflective Gretsch guitar is the first non-Fender I ever bought, and it took me like a year to decide if I really wanted, and I was drooling over it for at least a year. But it's a Korean made model, so it's not that expensive, so finally I pulled the trigger on the purchase and I couldn't be happier. Even though I don't play that much on this guitar, I really like the whole vibe. It seems just like a Cadillac. That's why I call Gretsch the Cadillac of guitars. It has an amazing mojo. This fairly blue color, the whole vibe really reminds me of Brian Setzer, who I really like, and Chet Atkins is also one of my biggest guitar heroes. So those are the sort of things I play on this, and it sounds pretty alright too with the stock filter tones, but I might change them at some point to the Brian Setzer signature pickups. This guitar didn't really sound that great before I got my deluxe reverb amp, which I just bought like a few weeks ago. So since I got that, I'm playing this way more because I just kind of found a good tone, a good sound, so it inspires me to pick it up. It has kind of a chunky neck, which at first I was really surprised, or I wasn't familiar with chunky necks at that point when I bought this, but since I'm buying fatter and fatter necks, and this feels really comfortable. So yeah, even though it's a Korean model, it's I think it's really great, good craftsmanship, and yeah, amazing vibe, good tone, inspires me to play different things than you usually see me do on this channel. This Les Paul is my first Gibson guitar ever. I bought it shortly after I moved to the US, Texas actually, and right before I moved out, I played a couple of Gibsons from my friend's collection, and up until that point I really didn't like Gibson guitars, but I played a couple of his Les Pauls and Edges, and they weren't that bad as I thought they would be. So I thought it would be time for me to get a nice US made Les Paul and give it a proper shot. Now, this was made in Nashville in 2015, and it's a classic Les Paul, as you can see. So the thing with this is it only has 3 knobs, and it has a solo boost circuit which kicks in like 10 or 15 dBs, and it's also push-pull pots on this one, so you can split or tell. I think it's splitting the coil. Yeah, so I thought it's gonna be a very versatile guitar, but turns out I'm just not a Les Paul person. The whole ergonomics of a Les Paul is not really they're not really my style, or doesn't really fit my playing style, or how I hold my hands on the guitar, how I pick. So I'm just not a Les Paul person, but at least I know, and I'm really glad that I had the chance to own this one. But this is the one I'm definitely gonna sell. It also has a slim taper neck, which I really liked in the beginning, but turns out that's not as good as I thought it's gonna be. However, it is amazing for slides. So it's right now tuned in open E tuning with 12 or 13 gauge frets, and it really works for slide. And I dig it, but it's way too much money to keep in just a slide guitar that I'm using like once every 6 months or something like that. Oh yeah, and it has the robot tuners or the automatic tuners, which the internet really hates, but it's not as bad as you think it is. It works alright, and it's easy or very helpful for me to go between standard and open tunings. So that's a good functionality. It works alright, and it's not that you can turn them without using the robotics, so it works manually as well, but I guess people say it doesn't hold tune as well as regular tuning keys, although I think Gibsons do not hold tune well just in general because of the headstock angle and the 2-3 row or line, or I don't know how you call this, but the distribution of the tuning pegs doesn't help it either. So yeah, once again, I'm glad I had this guitar because it showed me that I'm just not a Les Paul person. Growing up, I was always sort of a religious Fender fan, and I always sort of hated Gibson guitars. But the only thing I always wanted from the Gibson range is an ES-335 to get those early Deep Purple tones and vibes. And later, when I got into country and sort of the western swing or swingy jump bluesy stuff, this ES-335 got another appeal, and I finally thought it's time to get one. And I'm really happy I did, but it took me quite some time to find the right one, because most of them come with a really slim neck, and I don't like those. I wanted a fat baseball bat sort of neck that Gibson is really famous for. However, you can rarely find that on a reasonably priced ES models. So I found this, and it has an almost like a square U shape. So it's surprisingly square for the Fender use I'm used to, but it's really comfortable. So I picked up this guitar, and I kind of was surprised that I don't hate the neck, and therefore I quickly bought it because it was kind of pleasant to play on, and it sounds good too. You heard it on this channel on Shining Time and a couple of the other early Blackmore songs. I think it sounds great, but the pickups are a bit too dark. I definitely prefer that pink Miocaster I showed you earlier. So in that respect, I think I'm probably gonna sell this one as well, even though I think it looks cool. This is actually a set-in model for 2014. It was made in Memphis, and originally I looked into these set-in models because they were cheaper than the gloss ones, but I kind of think it has a worn feel that makes it look, well, way cooler. But the other thing about these 335s are they are pretty big. They are way more uncomfortable than the Gretch, and also because they are thin, the acoustic sound is not that great. I don't really like it. I don't like the acoustic sound as much as the full body Gretsch. But other than that, I really like this guitar. I always dreamed about getting one of these, so I'm happy I did. And if I sell this, I'm definitely gonna be sad for sure. But I always have those great memories playing Ring That Neck, Why Didn't Rosemary, and Chime in Time on this guitar. I have two bass guitars as well, and I just wanna quickly show them. This one right here is technically again my dad's guitar. It's special because it's a 1986 Japanese bass. Well, it's originally a jazz bass, and there's jazz bass pickup under the ashtray. But as you can see, I fitted it with a P bass pickup because I really like the P bass sound so much better than the jazz bass sound. So this guitar is unique because it's old, it's getting to be vintage soon, and I was born in '86 as well, so it's a good, I mean, story, or I just feel a connection to it. It's nice, slimmer sort of neck, easy to play, which really helps on the bass. On the other side, this Mexican Telecaster precision bass has a chunkier neck, and it's wider as well, so it's a bit more difficult to play, but it sounds more like a P bass. I'm not sure why, maybe because it was created as a P bass. This sort of has a more jazz bassy sound, even with the P bass pickups, and this has more of that dirty P bass sound. So I kind of like the sound of this better on the mix, but it's just a Mexican special edition or special run guitar, so no emotional connection, nothing funky about this. It sounds good in the mix. I love this so much more, but doesn't sit as good in my rainbow mixes or rainbow covers or purple covers. So yeah, these are my two bass guitars.